today, I'm just gonna not make up, I was gonna tell you, that's better. Okay. This is a memoir that I'm kind of making up on the spot, so if I stutter a little bit, there's a reason. Okay. It was a beautiful day. I couldn't imagine a day that could be so beautiful, even though it was the most devastating day of my life. I can't believe that the only thing I can remember good about that day was how beautiful the sky was. But when I woke up that morning as a young child, I looked around at my sisters, just toddlers, sleeping away like they should in the early morning hour. I hear a sound that pierced my heart, a sound that I couldn't recognize. It was so foreign, but I had to go see what the sound was. I get out of bed. I slowly walk towards the door, which turned out to be the longest walk of my entire life. I look at the doorknob, looking at it as though the touch would strike me down if I were to touch it. I slowly open the door and look down the hallway and see my parents. An odd sight to see both my parents awake at the same time. One was kneeling, one was standing over him. The kneeling man held something in his arms, and he was saying, "My son, oh my son." I knew that that sound was foreign because I never heard it before I never heard a man cry so loudly. My mom, her face was the same face that I saw when she was so scared, when she had once lost me in a park. I didn't have to ask to know what had happened. I shut the door, I walked back to my bed, crawled under my covers, and waited. I didn't know what to wait for. I was thinking about my first day of school in a week. But I knew that my little brother, the only brother that I had, was gone. I didn't know how. He had no ailment. He had no injury of any kind. I just knew he was gone. I get up later. Hours may have gone by, minutes, I don't know. I look at my sisters. I knew that my parents were in no shape to help them at this moment, so I get them dressed. And for the first time, a familiar face walked in the room. It was my cousin. She was only 14. She was the first one to hug me that day, the first comfort that I could get. I finally go into the room to see the commotion that I was hearing. I see floods of people, faces that I don't remember. They're all blurs. But for some reason, I still feel grateful for them because they were the ones who fed me breakfast. They were the ones that comforted us. But my parents couldn't, and I didn't know why at the time. Because I never lost a child, I just lost a brother. I look over and I finally see him. The vessel that used to hold my brother's spirit. I didn't want to be there. I leave. I was later found and I come back. This day is so beautiful, I remember, as I drove to another house because none of us could stay in that house for that day. A few days later, the funeral had come. My mom was holding my hand as we walked across the gravesite. The gravesite itself was beautiful too because there were no headstones that rose above the ground. It looked just like a park with flowers. She said, "I never thought that one day I would have to look for a site to bury one of my children." And that's when I couldn't say anything because I didn't know how to comfort a mother. I was only 11 years old. 7 years later, I find myself on the day of his death once more. It was the day that I left for college. A cruel day to do to my mother because she was losing two children now. But as we stood around the gravestone, my grandparents, my parents, my sisters, and I, we both said a prayer in our hearts, our minds, and to the Lord. My mother later approached me and she finally smiled and said, "Today I'm losing 2 children, but it's for a good reason this time." Because when I prayed, I said, "Hunter," that was his name, "please don't ever leave her side when she goes." And she looked up and she saw him. She said, "He looked just like your twin, an older version of you." And he said to me, "I will never leave her side." Finally, I felt that comfort from my mother as she hugged me. Finally, that sense of loss, that sense of devastation was over. I was free.